Roblox is a name every parent knows. It's a platform where over 100 million people log in every single day, and nearly half of them are children under 13. To parents, it looks innocent enough with its digital building blocks and creative gameplay. It seems like harmless fun, just kids being kids in a virtual world. But in 2024, one game on this platform became something nobody could have predicted. Something that would leave investigators stunned, parents devastated, and children gone forever. Forsaken, a horror game that everyone thought was pure fiction, became something far more sinister. This game didn't just scare kids. It convinced them that the end wasn't real, that they would simply respawn into a better world, and that a fictional deity called the Spawn would grant them eternal life. Some of these kids are already gone. Others carved symbols into their flesh with razors and knives, bleeding and believing it was the path to salvation. Children as young as 11 were groomed, exploited, and psychologically destroyed, while their parents sat in the next room, thinking their child was just playing a video game. This is Spawnism, the digital cult that weaponized a children's game and turned it into a hunting ground for the most dangerous predators on the internet. This is that story. Forsaken is a horror experience on Roblox where millions of children spend hours every day. The gameplay is straightforward, with players navigating dark corridors, solving puzzles, and surviving against supernatural threats. It's standard horror game material, meant to provide digital thrills and nothing more. The game featured lore about an entity called the Spawn, a deity-like figure that supposedly granted reincarnation to its followers. In the game's fictional universe, a cult worshipped this symbol, which was nothing more than a glowing white circle lifted from Roblox's own Respawn graphic. The developers believed they were crafting a cautionary tale. The story showed how cults destroy lives, with one character murdering their best friend as a sacrifice only to discover it was all a lie. It was supposed to be a warning, but instead, it became a blueprint for real-world horror. The predators emerge. Somewhere in 2024, something fundamental changed. Children started taking the game's fiction seriously, and Discord servers began appearing that were dedicated to Spawnism, as if it were an actual religion. At first glance, it seemed like kids just role-playing and taking the game too far, but there was a massive problem lurking beneath the surface. These servers weren't being run by kids at all. They were being operated by predators, specifically members of a criminal network known as the COM. These weren't amateur criminals. These were experienced, sophisticated groomers affiliated with one of the most dangerous online networks that law enforcement has ever encountered. The network goes by the name 764, founded in 2021 by a 15-year-old boy from Texas named Bradley Cadenhead. The network emerged from an earlier group called CVLT. Today, the FBI classifies this network as a terrorist organization. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police calls it an ideological violent extremist group. We're not talking about just a criminal group here. We're talking about a terrorist network with over 250 active FBI investigations and arrests in at least 8 countries. The number of child victims runs into the thousands. Their methods aren't random. They're calculated, systematic, and terrifying in their precision. These predators don't just exploit children for inappropriate content. They destroy them psychologically by forcing victims into ever-escalating acts of harm, while convincing these children that it's their choice, that they want this, and that they're special for doing it. Forsaken gave them the perfect cover story wrapped in gaming culture that children would readily believe: the hunting strategy. The predators moved through the community like experienced hunters. First, they infiltrated every corner of Forsaken's community, including the game's chat rooms, Discord servers, and TikTok comment sections. They studied the players like scientists, looking for very specific profiles. They targeted lonely kids, depressed kids, and children who felt like outsiders. They looked for kids who posted about feeling alone, who mentioned family problems, and who seemed desperate for connection. In leaked chat logs, the predators talked about their methods openly, referring to their process as vulnerability scanning. The goal was simple: find the weak ones, find the broken ones, and find the ones searching for belonging. Then came the friend request with a simple message like, "Hey, I saw you playing Forsaken. Have you heard about the real Spawn?" It sounds innocent enough. Just another player who seems to understand the game on a deeper level. These are classic cult recruitment tactics wrapped in gaming language. They make the target feel unique, give them secret knowledge, and create an exclusive in-group where they finally feel like they belong. Here's where Roblox's safety features ironically become weapons against safety itself. Roblox has sophisticated content filters that automatically block and flag concerning words. So the predators adapted. They would simply suggest moving the conversation to Discord, where they could talk more freely. Just like that, the child leaves the monitored platform and enters the predator's territory, where there are no filters, no monitoring, and no safety nets. It's just a child and a predator alone in a digital room where anything can be said and nobody's watching. The manipulation deepens. On Discord, the manipulation intensifies exponentially. The predators don't present themselves as threats. Instead, they position themselves as prophets or believers, fellow members of an enlightened group that understands the truth about the spawn. They share what appears to be evidence in the form of fabricated screenshots, manipulated videos, and testimonials from other believers who are actually just other predators or children who have already been manipulated. Then comes the isolation technique, pulled straight from cult psychology textbooks but delivered through memes and gaming slang. The predators tell them that their parents don't understand because they're non-believers who want to keep them from the truth. They convince them that their friends at school would never get it. Only the group understands them. Only the group sees how special they are. The children aren't being brainwashed, they're told. They're being red-pilled. They're not joining a cult, they're ascending. Dr. Sarah Robertson, who studies online coercion, explains that the predators are exploiting something fundamental about how children process fiction and reality. Children don't have fully developed media literacy skills. When a game's fiction is presented as reality by seemingly trusted peers, combined with emotional manipulation and social pressure, the line between roleplay and truth doesn't just blur, it dissolves completely, and these kids literally stop being able to tell what's real anymore. The trap closes. To prove their devotion to the spawn, children are told they must demonstrate their commitment through increasingly dangerous acts. First, they need to display the symbol, but displaying it on their game avatar isn't enough. The predators convince them that true believers mark their own skin with the symbol. Children as young as 11 years old, alone in their bedrooms late at night, taking razors or knives and carving this symbol into their own flesh. The pain is real, the blood is real, and they photograph it to send proof to the predators. The predators call these offerings, but it doesn't stop there. They demand more inappropriate photos, videos performing degrading acts, and evidence of escalating harm. The truth is that it was never about devotion to the spawn. It's about creating leverage material, because once a child has sent those images, once they've documented their actions, they're trapped. The predators threaten to send everything to their parents, to their schools, to their friends. The shame becomes unbearable, and the fear becomes paralyzing. Some children, desperate to escape, start recruiting others because they think that if they become perpetrators instead of victims, maybe they'll finally be free. They're not. It just creates more victims, more suffering, and more children trapped in the same hell. And underlying everything is the core belief that makes this all possible. The predators constantly reinforce the idea that if something happens to you in the real world, you'll respawn because the spawn will give you a better life. They teach that this world is fake and the next one is real. The system failures. Roblox has 3,000 moderators monitoring 100 million daily users. They employ AI filters, content blockers, and automated safety systems. But despite all of these precautions, predators always seem to be one step ahead. They exploit features like voice chat to bypass moderation. They use IP loggers disguised as innocent links with promises like, "Click here for free Robux." The moment a child clicks, the predator has their location and device information. They offer in-game currency like Robux or premium subscriptions. Kids without credit cards can't buy these things themselves, so a predator offering free Robux for a quick task seems like an amazing deal. The task starts small but then escalates into sending photos, engaging in harmful behavior, improving loyalty through increasingly dangerous acts. Discord is where the bulk of the abuse happens through private servers with no oversight and no monitoring. By July 2024, the RCMP issued public warnings about the network and Spawnism. By August, the FBI had launched over 250 investigations. But by that point, the damage was already done. The victims speak in November 2024. Dutch investigative journalists published their findings after months of investigation. They discovered that the cult of Spawn was actively recruiting young people in the Netherlands. Children were engaging in dangerous physical behavior, sharing inappropriate content, and being psychologically devastated. Law enforcement estimates that thousands have been targeted worldwide, with dozens confirmed as suffering severe psychological trauma. Tragically, some paid the ultimate price. While unconfirmed by official sources, rumors circulated in law enforcement circles about tragic outcomes linked to Spawnism. These were children who believed they would return, who thought that the end was just another level of the game, and who trusted the strangers more than they trusted reality itself. One mother in Connecticut described the situation with devastating simplicity when she said they felt like they owned her. Her 17-year-old daughter had been recruited through Forsaken, moved to Discord, and systematically manipulated over months. When police searched her room, they found evidence everywhere. Photos of a doll with the network's numbers etched into its surface. Dangerous images stored in hidden folders. A disturbing handwritten note calling her handler a god. The girl had become so thoroughly indoctrinated that she started perpetrating harm herself by hacking Roblox accounts to spread the cult's message, making threats to schools, and recruiting other victims. It's classic cult behavior. Victims become perpetrators as they try desperately to escape their own victimization by inflicting it on others. It never works. The trauma doesn't leave, it just multiplies. The response. In July 2025, the creators of Forsaken released a statement making it clear that Spawnism is not real, that they do not support it, and that the Spawn cult in their game was meant as a fictional cautionary tale. By that point, it was too late for many victims, but the response began in earnest. Roblox began aggressively shutting down any Spawnism-related content. Discord followed suit with their own crackdowns. In November 2024, Roblox implemented sweeping new safety measures. Users under 13 would have direct messages automatically blocked unless explicitly enabled by parents. Social hangout games were restricted to ages 13 and up. They introduced facial recognition age verification and expanded parental controls. Law enforcement made arrests across multiple continents. Bradley Cadenhead, the 15-year-old founder of the original network, is now in prison. Prominent members received lengthy sentences. In January 2025, 4 leaders were federally indicted under RICO statutes, the same laws used to prosecute organized crime families. But here's the horrifying truth: the network persists. The original group has splintered into dozens of offshoots with different names but identical tactics. They're everywhere, in every online community, on every platform. As one Vermont detective put it, think of this less as a group and more as an ideology of exploitation. It doesn't matter what they're called. It's everywhere. It's in every community. It's probably in your community right now, and you don't even know it. What this reveals: the game itself isn't dangerous, and it never was. Fiction can't hurt you on its own. It's what bad actors did with that fiction, how they twisted it and weaponized it and used it as a tool to destroy young lives, that turned something innocent into something deadly. That's the real horror story here, and it's one that's still being written.